I need $50,000. Brad didn't ask, didn't ease into it, just stood in my living room, the living room where I'd rocked his wife to sleep when she was a baby, and made his demand. The twins' private school. Tuition's due next month. You're going to cover it, or you won't be seeing Emma or Sophie again. My daughter Jennifer stood behind him. Said nothing. Didn't meet my eyes. I looked at Brad, at his $1,000 watch, at Jennifer's designer purse on my couch. And I smiled. That smile made him nervous. He should have been terrified. Before we continue, please subscribe to the channel and write in the comments what time it is where you are now. I'm Walter, 72 years old, retired electrician, lived in this house for 43 years. The house where my wife died holding my hand 2 years ago. The house where we raised Jennifer. The house Brad was now standing in, making threats about my granddaughters. 50,000, he repeated. Wire transfer. I'll send you the account details. I set down my coffee, didn't spill a drop. That's a lot of money. It's an investment in your granddaughter's future. He said it like he'd practiced. Prestigious school, best education money can buy. When's tuition due? September 1st. 3 weeks away. I nodded slowly. And if I don't pay? Jennifer finally spoke. Dad, don't be like that. I asked Brad a question. Brad crossed his arms, stood a little straighter. Then you don't see the girls. Simple as that. Jennifer agrees. We're a united front on this. A united front. My daughter and this man. Against me. The girls ask about you, Jennifer said. Softer now. Playing good cop to Brad's bad cop. They'd rehearsed this too. They miss their papa, but Brad and I have discussed it, and we can't have them around negativity. Negativity. Your attitude lately, Brad said. Jennifer told me how you've been. Difficult, unreasonable. We think it's best if you show your commitment to the family. Financial commitment. I picked up my coffee, took a sip. Cold. Forgot I'd poured it an hour ago. You think I'm being unreasonable? You haven't contributed to the girls' education, Brad said. Not really. A few birthday checks, Christmas money, but nothing substantial, nothing that shows you're invested in their future. The clock ticked, same clock that had been on that wall for 31 years. Martha had picked it out at a yard sale. Antique. Still kept perfect time. How much have I given you? I asked Jennifer. She blinked. What? Money. Over the years. How much? Dad, that's not... Humor me. She looked at Brad. He nodded. Permission. I don't know, she said. You've been generous. We appreciate it. Ballpark figure. I don't keep track of... I do. I stood up. My knees cracked. 72 years of climbing ladders, crawling through attics, kneeling on concrete floors. Let me show you something. I walked to my office. They followed. Could feel them behind me. Brad's expensive cologne, Jennifer's perfume, the same perfume Martha used to wear. Jennifer had asked for the bottle after the funeral. Sentimental, she'd said. My office was small. Desk Martha bought me for our 20th anniversary. Filing cabinet. Computer from 2015 that still worked fine. I opened a drawer, pulled out a folder. Blue. organized. I'd started keeping better records after Martha died. She'd always handled the finances. After she was gone, I had to learn. June 2018, I said. Down payment on your house. You needed $63,000. I gave you $65,000. Told you the extra was for closing costs. Jennifer's face went pale. Dad. September 2018. Brad's business venture, the consulting firm. You needed startup capital, $40,000. Loan, you said. You'd pay me back within 2 years. Brad's jaw tightened. That business failed because March 2019. Jennifer's car totaled in that accident. Insurance didn't cover the full replacement. $28,000 for the new SUV. I flipped pages, printed bank statements. I'd highlighted the transfers in yellow. November 2019. Twins were born, hospital bills, $15,000. Insurance covered most of it. I'm reading what I paid, Jennifer, not what you paid. The room was quiet except for the rustle of papers. January 2020. New furnace for your house, $11,000. That was a gift, Jennifer said. You offered. I did. You're right. More pages. June 2020. Brad's truck. Down payment. $12,000. That was a loan, Brad said. Funny. I never got it back. We were going to... July 2020. Your roof. Hail damage. $18,000. Insurance? Didn't cover the deductible or the upgrade to architectural shingles you wanted. I covered the difference. I kept reading. Every month. Small transfers, $500 here, $800 there, groceries, emergency vet bill for their dog, new appliances, preschool tuition, dance classes, soccer fees. Monthly transfers, I said. Average of $1,200 for the past 4 years, sometimes more. 1 month it was $3,000 because you needed new furniture. Jennifer was crying now. Quiet tears, the kind she used to cry when she was little and knew she'd been caught. Add it up, I said. The big items, the monthly help, the emergencies that somehow happened every other week. Brad's face was red. We never asked you to keep track. $247,000. I set down the folder. In 5 years. That's not counting birthday presents. Christmas. The trip to Disney I paid for last year. The $10,000 I gave you for the wedding, Jennifer. Before Brad. The number hung in the air. You're exaggerating, Brad said. I picked up the folder, held it out. Bank statements, all highlighted. Feel free to add it yourself. He didn't take it. $247,000, I repeated, and you're standing in my living room? The living room where I held Jennifer when she had colic, where Martha and I celebrated our 40th anniversary 3 months before the cancer took her. And you're threatening me, telling me I won't see my granddaughters unless I give you $50,000 more. It's for their education, Brad said, but his voice was weaker now. What school? What? What school? Name it. Brad glanced at Jennifer. Westridge Academy. Tuition? $50,000. For both girls? Per child. I laughed, short, bitter. So you need $100,000. We're asking for $50,000. As a contribution, we'll cover the rest. With what money? Brad's face went darker red. That's none of your... You don't have jobs. I said it flat, factual. Brad, you haven't worked since the consulting firm collapsed in 2020. Jennifer, you quit your nursing job when the twins were born. Said you'd go back after they started school. They started kindergarten last year. You didn't go back. Raising children is work, Jennifer said. It is. Martha did it. Raised you while working night shifts at the hospital. I worked 60-hour weeks. We made it work because we had to. Times were different. Times are always different. Excuses are always the same. Brad stepped forward. You're a bitter old man. You know that? Jennifer told me how you've been since Martha died. Angry. Difficult. Pushing everyone away. I pushed you away? You make everything hard. Every visit you've got some comment, some criticism, the way we parent, the way we spend money. Jennifer dreads coming here. I looked at my daughter. She was studying the floor. Is that true? I asked. She didn't answer. Jennifer, look at me. She did. Her eyes were red, mascara running. Do you dread coming here? You're different since Mom died, she whispered. Harder. Harder. You question everything. You make me feel like I'm doing everything wrong. Are you? See? That. Right there. Brad pointed at me. That attitude. That's why we're setting boundaries. The girls don't need that negativity. So this isn't about tuition. It's about respect, Brad said. You want to be in the girls' lives? Show some respect. Support our decisions. And yes, contribute financially. Prove you're committed. I looked at the folder in my hands. $247,000, proof of commitment, printed on bank statements, highlighted in yellow. When did you visit last? I asked Jennifer. Dad? When? June. Father's Day. Before that? Easter. Before that? She didn't answer. Christmas, I said. Easter. Father's Day. 3 visits in 8 months, each time about 2 hours. You show up, the girls play in the yard. You have some coffee. Brad checks his phone. You leave. We're busy, Brad said. I called you 14 times in July, I said to Jennifer. You answered twice. Both times you said you'd call back. You didn't. I forgot. You forgot your father. But you remembered to text me last week asking about the $50,000. Jennifer's face crumpled. That's not fair. Fair. The word tasted bitter. You want to talk about fair? Brad stepped between us. Literally. Physically moved between me and my daughter. Enough. Here's what's happening. You're going to transfer $50,000 into our account by Friday. If you do, we'll bring the girls by for a visit next month. If you don't, we're done. Jennifer's done trying to maintain a relationship with someone who doesn't appreciate her. Doesn't appreciate her. You take her for granted. You think she owes you something because you're her father. That's not how it works anymore, old man. She's an adult. She has her own family. You want to be part of it? Earn it. The rage was cold now, settling into my chest like ice. Funny thing about getting old. You learn to control anger, channel it. Get out of my house, I said. Brad smirked. So that's it? You're choosing pride over your granddaughters? I'm choosing self-respect over extortion. It's not extortion. You threaten to withhold my grandchildren unless I pay you. That's textbook extortion. We're setting boundaries. Get out. Jennifer grabbed Brad's arm. Let's go. Not until he commits. Brad, please. She was pulling him now, toward the door. Let's go. They left. Brad's BMW pulled out of my driveway fast enough to leave rubber on the concrete. I watched through the window. Same window where Martha used to stand watching for Jennifer's car when she'd visit. I stood there for a long time after they left. The house was quiet. Too quiet. It had been too quiet since Martha died. But this was different. This was the silence of something ending. I went back to my office, sat down at the desk, opened my computer. The file was already there. I'd started it a week ago, after Jennifer's text about the $50,000, before I knew about Brad's threat. I'd sensed something was coming. The document was simple. Spreadsheet. Every transfer, every loan, every gift. I'd spent 3 days going through bank statements, 6 years of statements, every highlighted entry transferred to the spreadsheet. Date, amount, purpose, notes, $247,832, precise, documented, irrefutable. I opened another file. This one was newer. Started 2 days ago after I'd called my lawyer. Richard Chen was 78. We'd worked together back in the day. He'd done electrical work. I'd done some wiring on his first house. We'd stayed friends. "You're sure?" he'd asked on the phone. "I'm sure." "This'll hurt." It already hurts. The document was titled Memorandum of Loans and Gifts. Richard had drafted it. Clean, legal, professional. It listed every major transfer, categorized them. Loans versus gifts. Terms of the loans. Expected repayment dates. Interest calculated at the legal rate. By Richard's math, Brad and Jennifer owed me $116,000 in unpaid loans. The gifts, the things I'd explicitly said were gifts, totaled $131,000. I printed the document. 3 copies, signed them, dated them. Then I started a new document. This one was harder. I'd seen what they'd posted on Facebook. I wasn't on Facebook, never saw the point. But my neighbor Eleanor had shown me. She'd knocked on my door 3 days after Jennifer's visit, concerned look on her face. "Walt, I don't know if you've seen this." She'd pulled up Jennifer's page on her phone. The post was long, 6 paragraphs. How I'd abandoned Jennifer after Martha's death. How I'd promised to support the twins, and then cruelly withdrawn all help without warning. How Brad had tried to reason with me, but I was too bitter and angry to listen. 342 likes, 117 comments, most of them supportive of Jennifer. Poor thing, dealing with a difficult father. He sounds toxic. You're better off without that negativity. A few were skeptical. Seems like there's more to this story. Did something happen? Jennifer had replied to those. Long explanations. How I'd changed after Mom died. How I was impossible to please. How she'd tried everything, but I pushed her away. No mention of the $247,000. No mention of Brad's ultimatum. Just a narrative. Carefully constructed. Me as villain. Her as victim. I sat at the computer and wrote my own narrative. Factual. Documented. No emotions. Just dates and numbers and screenshots of texts and bank transfers. I didn't post it. Not yet. But I had it ready. Friday came. The deadline. No transfer went through, obviously. Jennifer texted Saturday morning. "Dad, Brad checked the account. You didn't send the money." I didn't respond. She called Saturday afternoon. I let it go to voicemail. Dad, please pick up. We need to talk about this. You're being unreasonable. It's $50,000. You have it. Mom's life insurance alone was $300,000. You're sitting on that money while your granddaughters suffer. Call me back. I saved the voicemail. Sunday, Brad called. I answered. You're really doing this? He said. No hello, no preamble. Doing what? Choosing money over family. That's an interesting way to frame extortion. It's not, Jesus Christ, Walter, it's tuition for your granddaughters. Then pay it yourself. We can't afford. Then choose a different school. They're already enrolled. Then unenroll them. You're unbelievable. Jennifer was right. You're a selfish old man. Tell me about the consulting firm, Brad. Silence. The one I gave you $40,000 for in 2018. What happened to it? It didn't work out. Why? Market conditions. You never launched it, did you? More silence. I did some research, I said. Called some people. There's no LLC registered under your name. No business license, no tax filings. You took $40,000 and told me it was for a business that never existed. That's not. Where did the money go, Brad? He hung up. Monday morning, Jennifer showed up at my house. Alone. No Brad, no girls. I opened the door, didn't invite her in. She looked tired, older. Dad, can we talk? We're talking. Inside? I'm comfortable here. She flinched. We'd never talked on the porch before. Guests got invited in. Family got invited in. I wasn't inviting her in. Brad told me what you said, she said, about the consulting firm. And? He was trying. It was a difficult time. The business didn't work out. Because it never existed. He had plans. I gave him $40,000 for a business that never existed, Jennifer. That's fraud. He's your son-in-law. He's a con artist, and you're helping him. Her eyes filled with tears. How can you say that? Because it's true. You've been using me as a bank for 5 years. I documented it, every transfer, every loan, every gift. I know exactly how much you've taken. Taken? You gave it to us. I helped you. There's a difference. Help is temporary. Help is mutual. What you did was exploitation. We never asked you to keep track. I didn't keep track for you, I kept track for me, so I'd know when to stop. She wiped her eyes. Mascara smeared. So that's it? You're cutting us off? You cut me off first. Brad's threat, remember? 50,000 or I never see the girls again. That was your choice. That wasn't serious. It sounded serious. Brad was frustrated. Brad was threatening. You stood there and let him. I'm caught between. No. I shook my head. You chose. You chose him over me the moment you stood silent while he threatened me. You chose the money over the relationship when you sent that text asking for 50,000. You chose the narrative over the truth when you posted that lie on Facebook. I didn't lie. You told half the story, the half that made you look sympathetic. You left out the part where I gave you $250,000. You left out Brad's ultimatum. You left out your 3 visits this year. You crafted a story where you're the victim and I'm the villain. That's a lie. She was crying now, really crying, the way she used to when she was little and Martha would have to hold her. But Martha wasn't here, and I wasn't holding her. "What do you want from me?" she asked. "Nothing." "There must be something." "I want nothing, Jennifer. That's the point. I'm done wanting you to visit, done wanting you to call, done wanting you to remember I exist outside of what I can give you financially. I'm done." "You don't mean that." "I do. The girls have a mother who sees me as an ATM and a father who threatened to weaponize them unless I paid $50,000. Those girls are learning that love is transactional. That family is leverage. They're learning it from you." She stepped back like I'd hit her. "I'm their grandfather," I said, "but I won't be held hostage. You want to keep them from me? That's your choice. But you don't get my money and my grandchildren. You don't get to threaten me and then act wounded when I call your bluff. Pick one." "You're forcing me to choose?" "You already chose. I'm just accepting it." I stepped back, started to close the door. "Dad, wait." I closed it, gently. Not a slam, just a quiet click. Through the window, I watched her stand on the porch for a long time. Then she walked to her car, the SUV I'd bought her in 2019. She sat in the driver's seat. Didn't start the engine, just sat there. Eventually she left. I went back to my office, sat down, looked at the spreadsheet. $247,832. I'd worked for that money, 43 years as an electrician. Union wages, good benefits. Martha and I had been careful, saved, invested. The life insurance from her death, that $300,000 Jennifer mentioned, was supposed to last me the rest of my life. Maybe leave something for Jennifer when I died. But I'd been bleeding it away, helping, always helping. When does help become enabling? When does generosity become exploitation? I didn't know the exact moment, but I knew I'd crossed it. The phone rang Tuesday. Not Jennifer. Brad. "My lawyer will be in touch," he said. "About?" "The money you owe us. You made promises, verbal agreements. We relied on those promises to our detriment. That's legally binding." "Get a better lawyer," I said. "Mine disagrees." I hung up. Wednesday, the Facebook post went up. Brad this time. His page was public. More reach. Family update. After years of supporting a toxic relationship, Jennifer and I have made the difficult decision to protect our daughters from her father's emotional abuse. Walter has refused to support his granddaughter's education and has made increasingly cruel statements about our family. We're heartbroken, but we have to put the girls first. Thank you for your support during this difficult time. 412 likes, 143 comments. I read them all. Most were supportive. Stay strong. You're doing the right thing. Family isn't blood, it's who shows up. Some were skeptical. What happened? This seems sudden. Is there more to the story? A few were cruel. Old people get bitter. He's probably losing it. Dementia makes them mean. I saved screenshots. Then I made my own post. On a Facebook account Eleanor helped me set up. Public, not friends only. I didn't write paragraphs. I wrote facts. My name is Walter Davis. I'm 72. My daughter Jennifer and son-in-law Brad have been posting about our relationship. Here are some facts they didn't mention. Then I posted the spreadsheet. Every transfer, every date, every amount. $247,832 in 5 years. Documented, bank statements available on request. I posted Richard's memorandum, the one calculating unpaid loans. $116,000 in unpaid loans. Expected repayment dates listed. No payments received. I posted screenshots of Brad's threat. Jennifer's text about the $50,000. The voicemail where she mentioned Martha's life insurance. They demanded $50,000 for private school tuition, or I'd never see my granddaughters again. That's not support. That's extortion. I posted screenshots of their Facebook posts. They posted their version. Here's mine. You decide who's telling the truth. I hit publish. Then I closed the laptop. The response was immediate. Within an hour, 47 shares. Within 2 hours, 300 comments. I didn't read them. Thursday morning, Jennifer called. I answered. Dad, what did you do? I told the truth. You humiliated us. I documented facts. Everyone's calling us. My friends, Brad's family. They're asking about the money, the loans. They think we're con artists. Stop it. That's what they think? You made us look like we were using you. Were you? Silence. Were you using me, Jennifer? We needed help. Help is different than dependency. Help is temporary. What you did was permanent, expected, obligated. You never said no? I shouldn't have to. You're my daughter. I wanted to help, but you turned help into entitlement. You turned generosity into expectation. And when I finally stopped, you weaponized my granddaughters. We didn't. Brad stood in my living room and said I'd never see Emma and Sophie again unless I paid him $50,000. You stood next to him, silent. That's weaponizing. He was frustrated. He was threatening. There's a difference. More silence. Take down the post, she finally said. Please. No. Dad, you posted your version, I posted mine. Fair's fair. This is destroying us. You destroyed us when you chose money over me. I'm just making sure people know why. She hung up. Friday, my lawyer called. Walter, Brad's lawyer, contacted me. And? They're threatening to sue. Defamation, emotional distress, alienation of affection. Can they win? Richard laughed. Dry. Bitter. Not a chance. Truth is an absolute defense to defamation. Everything you posted is documented. Bank statements don't lie. What do I do? Nothing. Let them sue. We'll counter-sue for the unpaid loans. With interest, it's close to $130,000 now. See how fast they drop it. They dropped it Monday. Saturday, Eleanor knocked on my door. She was holding a casserole, tuna, my favorite. Thought you might need some company, she said. I invited her in. First person I'd invited in since Brad and Jennifer's visit. We ate in the kitchen, the table where I'd helped Jennifer with homework, where Martha and I had celebrated anniversaries, where I'd signed the papers giving away nearly $250,000. You did the right thing, Eleanor said. Doesn't feel right. Never does. But necessary things rarely feel good. She's my daughter? I know. Emma and Sophie? I know. We sat in silence. The clock ticked. Martha's clock. "She might come around," Eleanor said. "Eventually. Maybe. Or maybe not. Yeah. Either way, you'll be okay." I wasn't sure about that, but I nodded anyway. Sunday, something changed. A comment on my Facebook post from someone named Rachel Morrison. I didn't know her. "Walter, I'm Jennifer's college roommate. We haven't talked in years, but I saw this post. She did the same thing to her mother before Martha got sick. Constant requests for money, guilt trips, threats. Martha told me once she felt like a bank, not a mother. I thought you should know. I'm sorry you're going through this." I stared at the comment. Martha had felt the same way. Martha had known. Why hadn't she told me? Then I remembered. The fights, small ones, years ago, before Martha got sick. Jennifer would call, ask for money. Martha would hang up and be quiet, distant. "Everything okay?" I'd ask. "Fine," she'd say. But it wasn't fine, and I'd been too busy working, too busy providing, too busy being the man who could fix everything, too busy to see my wife was drowning in our daughter's demands. I sat at the kitchen table, Martha's table, and I cried. Not for Jennifer, not for Brad, not even for Emma and Sophie. For Martha, who'd carried this burden alone, who'd died without telling me how bad it was, who'd protected me from the truth about our daughter. Monday morning I called Richard. "I want to update my will." "Okay." "Everything goes to charity. The house, the savings, the life insurance payout. All of it." "Walter, I mean it. Find a good charity. Kids Hospital, Scholarship Fund. Something that helps people who need it, not people who feel entitled to it. That's a big decision. It's the right decision. Jennifer gets nothing. Brad gets nothing. They've had enough. What about the girls?" I paused. Thought about Emma and Sophie. 7 years old, blonde hair like Jennifer, blue eyes like Martha. "Set up education trusts," I said, "direct to accredited universities, not accessible by Jennifer or Brad. Girls can use it for tuition, books, housing, nothing else, and only if they contact me directly when they turn 18. They might not. Then the money goes to charity. But at least I'll know I tried." Richard was quiet. Then, "I'll draft it today." "Thank you." "Walter?" "Yeah?" "You're doing the right thing. Everyone keeps saying that. Because it's true." I hung up. The house was quiet again, but different now. This wasn't the silence of loneliness. This was the silence of peace. Tuesday, 3 weeks after Brad's ultimatum, I got a call from an unknown number. I almost didn't answer, but something made me pick up. "Walter Davis?" "Yes?" "This is Karen Chen. I'm a social worker with Adult Protective Services." My blood went cold. "I'm calling about a report filed last week. Allegations of elder abuse and incompetence. The report claims you're suffering from dementia and making erratic financial decisions. It was filed by your daughter, Jennifer Davis Morrison, and her husband, Brad Morrison." I sat down. "I see. I need to schedule a home visit. Assess your living situation. Make sure you're safe and capable of managing your affairs. When?" "Thursday at 10 a.m., if that works for you." "It works. Mr. Davis, I want you to know this is standard procedure. The allegations require us to investigate, but that doesn't mean they're true. We'll make our own assessment. I understand. Have you been experiencing any confusion, memory problems, difficulty managing daily tasks? No. Any health issues? Blood pressure medication, cholesterol medication, standard stuff for a man my age. Okay. We'll talk more on Thursday. Is there anyone you'd like present during the visit? My lawyer. That's fine. I'll see you Thursday. She hung up. I sat there holding the phone. They'd called APS, reported me as incompetent, tried to have me declared unfit to manage my own affairs. So they could what? Take control of my money? Get guardianship? Access the accounts I'd cut off? I called Richard. They reported me to APS, I said. He swore, long and creative. Those bastards. Can they do this? They can report. Doesn't mean it'll stick. You're sharp as anyone I know, Walt. No judge would declare you incompetent. But they're trying. They're desperate. You cut off the money. They're scrambling. This is a Hail Mary. What do I do? Cognitive evaluation. Tomorrow. I'll set it up with Dr. Patricia. She does competency assessments. You pass, and you will. And you have documentation that you're perfectly sound. Okay? And Walt? Yeah? This is low, even for them. Be ready for worse. Wednesday morning, I sat in Dr. Patricia Williams' office. She was 60-something, kind eyes, professional demeanor. Mr. Davis, I understand you're here for a cognitive evaluation. Yes. Can you tell me why? I explained. The money, the threats, the APS report. She listened, took notes, didn't react. Then she started the evaluation, questions, memory tests, problem-solving, spatial reasoning. I answered everything. Clearly, accurately. She scored it, looked up, smiled. Mr. Davis, your cognitive function is excellent, well above average for your age. There's no indication of dementia, confusion, or impaired decision-making ability. You'll document that? I'll write a detailed report. You're fully competent to manage your affairs. Relief flooded through me. Thank you. Mr. Davis, may I speak candidly? Please. I've been doing this for 30 years. I've seen a lot of families fight over money. This pattern, adult children reporting parents as incompetent when the money stops. It's more common than you'd think. Really? Really? And it's always ugly. But you're doing the right thing. Protecting yourself. Documenting everything. That's smart. Doesn't feel smart. Feels like I'm at war with my own daughter. You are. And I'm sorry. But sometimes the people we love become people we can't trust. That's not your failure. It's theirs. I left with the report. 10 pages, detailed, professional, irrefutable proof that I was competent. Thursday at 10, Karen Chen arrived. She was younger than I expected, maybe 40, professional, polite. Richard was with me. We sat in the living room. She looked around, took notes. Mr. Davis, can you walk me through a typical day? I did. Morning coffee, breakfast, errands, lunch, reading, dinner, TV, bed. Do you manage your own medications? Yes. Cook your own meals? Yes. Pay your own bills? Yes. Have you experienced any confusion, forgotten appointments, gotten lost? No. Any difficulty managing finances? No. I have a detailed spreadsheet of my accounts. I reconcile them monthly. She blinked. You reconcile your accounts? Yes. Martha, my late wife, taught me. She was a nurse, very organized. Richard pulled out a folder. Ms. Chen, I've taken the liberty of compiling some documentation. Bank statements showing Mr. Davis's financial management, medical records showing his health status, and a cognitive evaluation completed yesterday by Dr. Patricia Williams. He handed her the report. She read it, slowly, then looked up. Mr. Davis, do you know why this report was filed? Yes. My daughter and son-in-law are angry I stopped giving them money. Can you elaborate? I did. Everything. The $247,000, the $50,000 demand, Brad's threat, the Facebook posts, the lawsuit threat. She listened, took more notes. Do you have documentation of these financial transfers? Richard handed her another folder. Comprehensive records, every transfer highlighted and categorized. She read through it. Her expression didn't change, but something shifted in her eyes. Mr. Davis, based on what I've seen today, your living conditions, your cognitive function, your financial management, and the context of this report, I see no evidence of self-neglect, exploitation by others currently in your home, or diminished capacity. Relief again. However, she continued, I do see a pattern that concerns me. Adult children demanding money and filing false reports when denied, that's financial exploitation. And threatening to withhold grandchildren as leverage is emotional manipulation. What happens now? I asked. I'll file my report. It'll indicate no concerns about your welfare or capacity. The case will be closed. What about Jennifer and Brad? Filing a false report is serious, but proving it was knowingly false is difficult. I'll note the pattern in my report. If they file again, that'll factor into future investigations. She stood, shook my hand. Mr. Davis, you're clearly capable of managing your own affairs. I'm sorry you're going through this. After she left, Richard and I sat in silence. They tried to have you declared incompetent, he finally said. That's as low as it gets. I know. What do you want to do? Nothing. It failed. Let it go. Walt, I'm tired, Richard. I'm 72 years old. My wife is dead. My daughter is trying to rob me. I just want peace. Okay, but if they try again, we'll deal with it. He left. I sat in the living room, Martha's house, the house we'd built a life in. I thought about Jennifer, about Emma and Sophie, about how love becomes obligation, becomes exploitation, about how family becomes leverage, about how you can give everything and still be called selfish when you finally say no. Friday. The Facebook post went up. Jennifer's page, public. Update. My father has been investigated by APS. The result is confidential, but we remain concerned about his welfare and decision-making. We've tried everything to maintain a relationship, but his hostility and paranoia have made it impossible. We're heartbroken, but we have to protect ourselves and our daughters. Please respect our privacy during this difficult time. Confidential. But she'd posted about it anyway, painting me as investigated, implying the result was concerning, lying again. I commented, public, on her post. Jennifer, the APS investigation you mentioned found no concerns about my welfare or capacity. The social worker's report is clear. I'm fully competent. The cognitive evaluation from Dr. Patricia Williams confirms this. You filed a false report because I stopped giving you money. That's documented too. Stop lying. I attached the APS clearance letter and the cognitive evaluation report. 30 seconds later, my comment was deleted. 1 minute later, I was blocked. But the damage was done. People had seen it. Screenshots were circulating. The comments on her post shifted. Less supportive, more skeptical. Did you file a false APS report? Why would you post about a confidential investigation? This whole thing seems sketchy. Saturday, I got an email from Emma's school account. The subject line, "Hi, Papa." My hands shook opening it. "Hi, Papa. This is Emma. Mom doesn't know I'm writing this. She took your phone number out of my tablet, but I remembered your email from when you sent me birthday pictures. I miss you. Sophie misses you too. Mom says you're sick and don't want to see us. Is that true? I hope you're okay. I love you. Emma." I read it 3 times. Then I called Richard. "I need advice. Legal advice." "Okay. If Jennifer's telling the girls I'm sick and don't want to see them, is that parental alienation?" "Potentially. Depends on the specifics. Why?" I read him Emma's email. He was quiet. Then, "Walt, that's heartbreaking. But unless you're pursuing custody or visitation rights, there's not much you can do. Grandparents' rights in this state are limited." So I just let her lie. "You can respond to Emma gently. Let her know you're fine and you love her. But be careful. Anything you write could be used against you." "Used how?" "Jennifer could claim you're trying to undermine her parenting. Manipulate the children. It's a mess." I hung up, sat down at the computer, opened a reply to Emma. "Dear Emma, thank you for writing to me. I'm not sick. I'm healthy and doing fine. I love you and Sophie very much. I miss you both too. Sometimes grown-ups have disagreements. That's what's happening with your mom and me. It's not your fault. It's not about you. You're a wonderful girl and I'm proud of you. Love, Papa." I hit send. Then I waited. No response came. Sunday, Eleanor invited me to church. I hadn't been since Martha's funeral. But I went. The sermon was about forgiveness, about letting go of anger, about peace. I listened. Afterward, the pastor approached me, Father Michael, old guy, older than me even. "Walter, good to see you. Good to be here. How are you doing?" I almost said fine. The automatic response. But something stopped me. Not great, honestly. "Want to talk?" We sat in the empty sanctuary. I told him everything. He listened, didn't interrupt. When I finished, he was quiet for a long time. "Walter, do you want reconciliation with Jennifer?" "I don't know." "What would it take?" I thought about that. "An apology. Real one. Not, 'I'm sorry you felt that way.' A real acknowledgement of what she did. And if she doesn't? Then I guess we're done." "Can you live with that?" Could I? "I don't have a choice," I said. "You always have a choice. Forgiveness is a choice. Reconciliation is a choice. Walking away is a choice. What would you do?" He smiled, sad. I'm not in your shoes, Walter. But I'll tell you this. Forgiveness doesn't mean reconciliation. You can forgive someone and still protect yourself from them. You can love someone and still set boundaries. Those aren't contradictions. They're necessities. I left the church feeling something. Not better, not fixed, but something. Monday, 4 weeks after Brad's ultimatum, my doorbell rang. I opened it. Jennifer stood there. Alone. No Brad, no girls. She looked terrible. Thinner, older, tired. "Dad, can we talk?" I didn't invite her in. We'd been here before. "What do you want, Jennifer?" "To apologize." I waited. I was wrong. About the money, about Brad's threat, about the APS report. All of it. I was wrong. Okay. That's it? Okay. What do you want me to say? I don't know. Something. You apologized. I heard it. Dad, I'm trying. I know. And I appreciate it. But an apology doesn't undo what happened. So we're just done? I don't know. I'm your daughter, and I'm your father. But you treated me like an ATM for 5 years. You let Brad threaten me. You filed a false APS report. You told Emma and Sophie I was sick and didn't want to see them. An apology doesn't fix that. She was crying now. What do you want from me? I want you to understand what you did. Not just apologize because things didn't work out. I want you to understand that you hurt me, that you exploited me, that you weaponized my granddaughters, that you tried to have me declared incompetent so you could control my money. I want you to sit with that, really sit with it, and then decide if you're capable of having a relationship that isn't transactional. Can you? Because I don't think you know how. I don't think you know how to relate to me outside of what I can give you. And until you figure that out, we don't have anything to talk about. I stepped back, started to close the door. Dad, please, when you figure it out, call me. Not text, not email. Call. Have a conversation. Show me you're capable of that. Then maybe we'll talk. I closed the door, stood there, listening to her cry on the porch. She left after a few minutes. I went to the kitchen, made coffee, sat at the table, Martha's table. The house was quiet. But it wasn't lonely anymore. It was mine. If you like this story, please like it, subscribe to the channel, and share your impressions in the comments. To listen to more stories, click on the window on the right. Thank you for being with us.